All right, this is Keith Bilous, C. Marty, Jon Anderson, and Colby Wegner. We're talking using shower heads for bidets here, Mornings in a lot. But what we're really talking about this morning is surviving entrepreneurship. Tips to stay mentally and physically fit in a world of constant just mental battles. Colby, 72% of entrepreneurs report mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, or burnout. That was a source from UC Berkeley, studying entrepreneur well-being. Colby, entrepreneurship often demands long hours and constant stress, leading to poor physical health choices. Colby, how has your personal experience that you shared with us during Center Stage, how has it changed your approach to physical fitness today and maintaining a healthy lifestyle? A pointed question to you. Do you start your day taking care of your physical human first? And if the answer is no, why not? And then third, did you not learn your lesson? Colby Wegner.
Man, getting called out. Yeah, I like it. I will say that there's always more to do, right? Like even listening to Marty's segment there, like that was just a personal thing in my mind where it's, you know what, he's absolutely right. There's more to be done. For me, I'll personally say I do not enjoy working out at all, but it's really doesn't matter if you enjoy it or not. What they say, hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. So it's one of those things where I get David Goggins in my head and just shut the hell up and get it done kind of thing most of the time. I drink like athletic greens every morning and that sort of stuff. I think a lot of it too was just like not getting the proper nutrients or skipping meals was a very common thing. And occasionally I still do that. Again, it's a work in progress. I don't know if you ever solve it. Short answer is there's much more to be done. Compared to myself 2 years ago, I'm miles better, right? So I see it as incremental journey. I'm not like I am not and don't necessarily see myself ever getting fully like addicted to the fitness side of things. It's more of a maintenance mode to make sure I can be optimal.
So before I flip to Jon and Marty, I'm actually quite amazed by your comments, Colby. Is what's preventing the enjoyment from beating up the mind or beating up the body, and how that might translate into how it's building the business? Because for me, Colby, I did a big, massive ride this morning. It was an endurance ride. I fucking was hating it, but it was teaching my mind to get through my 16-hour day today. Mm-hmm. Right. So I use and I know we talk with Jon and Marty all the single time. I use my hours in the morning to train my brain, train my body to get through my business. Yet sounds like how you're speaking about it is that you still, I don't know, struggle, but you still battle those feelings, Colby.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, it's probably like one of the biggest, I don't want to say blind spots, but maybe resistance factors. I will say like around the rest of my life, there's definitely a lot of movement and that sort of stuff. Like I'll go out and walk the dog for an hour every day and that sort of stuff. I have 3 young kids, so it's like one of those things where I am just constantly moving and I get my weights from just carrying around. We had twin girls. So
there you go.
You carry them both simultaneously.
Yes.
And they're both like 20 pounds. So, 40 pounds, it's not a ton, but it gets me going.
Yeah.
And I've never really struggled with being overweight or having high cholesterol or blood pressure or anything like that. I've always had a pretty solid like resting heart rate aside from when I was crazy anxious and burnout. It's typically around like in the 60-70 range max when I'm operating. There's so much more to do. Like there's a whole business around optimizing that. I think I'm just constantly focused on what I need to do for the business. So it's more for me because to be super like clear with and transparent, I still think I'm in the early stage of getting out of this. I don't think I'm thriving. I think I'm surviving with it. And so a lot of it, Keith, is probably the main thing is just like looking at the signs ahead of time. The reason I burnt out is because when I said in my brain, I need a break and ignored it, burnout. Like when I said I should eat this versus this and ignored it, burnout. Right. So it's like kind of those little micro decisions versus like full commitment just yet. But you guys are almost challenging me subliminally to solve these problems a little bit quicker, I think.
Yeah. Johnny.
What I remind myself is this in situations like this, in entrepreneurship, business, actually fucking everything. This is what I remind myself is that it's like my body is a race car. And obviously as entrepreneurs, as athletes, we like to win. This race car has a checklist of maintenance that needs to be done every day. And if I don't maintain or keep this race car tuned, how the fuck do I ever expect I'm going to win? So I don't check my boxes. I'm going out on the track and just going through the fucking motions. I don't even have a fucking chance to win if I don't check my boxes every day. So that makes it real easy for me to check those boxes that may not be quite as exciting, because I'm just envisioning how good I'm going to feel when I'm out on the track winning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marty, I know that you've I don't want to say struggle with mental health, but you've had your burnout times in life where you feel really fucking burnt out and so forth. Marty, what have you done to address burnout or address the feeling of the precipice of burnout, which is, okay, I feel it coming. I need to stop. Is it, as I've gotten to know you, is it really just hitting the couch? Is it grabbing some food, some comfort? Is it going for a good lift? Is it hanging out with your buddies? Marty, what's something that you use and you'd offer some advice maybe to Colby to consider when you're approaching that level of burnout? Marty.
Absolutely. I'm not a father yet, so I just say what works for me. Maybe you can apply this to you. First thing is rest. I got to prioritize rest. I'm probably not sleeping enough, because I tend to do that sometimes. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing I'm going to look at is, what am I operating highest in? Mm-hmm. And then why am I not operating in other areas at the same level? So like, I could be killing my workouts, but I'm not operating high in my business. Yes. I'm not operating high as a friend or as a son, right? So what do I need to do to get myself to operate at a high level for everything, every area of my life? And usually that gets me back going. I get my perspective back. I always talk about, I get back in the Bible. I'm a Christian, so I get back to, what's my purpose? What am I living for? Is God happy with me right now? So those are probably the three biggest things. So that was rest, that was purpose, operating at a high level, and then my spiritual.
Those are some great tips, man. And I love how you lean into rest, right? Because I know we talk about it often here on the show. We don't talk enough about sleep. We always talk about food and training and everything else. But wait a minute, let's go get some sleep. Oh, no, if I sleep, I'm going to miss the world. So I love that Marty talked about we got to lean into sleep. And I want to jump into the comments here quickly. We got Tangerine joining us from Philippines today. Good morning, Tangerine. Good to see you here. And Shinku is here as well. Shinku is always here. And Shinku slept 4 hours last night. I know, Marty and Jon, because Shinku was messaging us on the YouTube comments last night. And then I got up this morning and Shinku was there commenting again. And Shinku was like, yeah, you guys need to make a longer show. I'm like, Shinku, you need to get some sleep, man. Go to sleep, Shinku.
Get some longer sleep, bro.
And then good time is, I like this. And Colby, I look to you, pal. Don't wait till the check engine light comes on. And what I'm suspecting by this comment when I see this from good time, this is perhaps what maybe your life was going through, right, Colby? Is that you were going through life and it's like the check engine light come on and you're just ignoring it. And I think we've all done it as men, right? We get into the car and it's like, oh, the check engine light's on. Just keep driving. Just keep driving. Just keep driving. And then the fucking car bucks. Oh, man, the engine light was on. So I like that Colby, a good time drops it in there. But I saw you nodding, Colby. You relate to that comment, don't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's, there's millions of times where I would say post burnout, where it's just, I would be driving in the car actually with my wife. And I would be saying like, I think I'm catching a sign right now. And she would know what I mean. Yes. Like before I would be ignoring these things. And you're right. As men, stereotypical or not, how much are we just bottling up? Like, I'm not sharing every little detail because I have to look okay on the outside. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where,
and I hate that you feel that way. I do. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I hate that you feel as a man that we have to put that guard up. And I'm proud that you were vulnerable to share that with us, but I hate that you as a human had to go through that feeling.
Yeah. Right. And it's one of those things too, where I'm doing it so much less now. And that's why I wouldn't change anything, because I've come out the other side. Like when you said the 72%, that seems low to me.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that I've come out the other side, that's why I had to fulfill my purpose. Like the reason I walked away from my agency just to tie it all together 30 days ago was because I just asked myself the question. I was like, can you reach your full potential here or somewhere else?
Oh,
right? And I didn't have an exact plan per se, but it was like, once I knew the answer to the question, that's where I am actually so grateful for the burnouts, because when you're in burnout, it's just, you're that knotted up ball of yarn and you have no idea which string to pull to get it unraveled. Yeah. Yeah. But when you have that as perspective, and I have what I call a true South story around teaching. I don't know if we have time for me to share that. It's like a minute long, but that one true South is what I compare almost everything against, to be like, damn, I'm lucky. I've got a ton of positive things going here. And because when I see what else there is, like I walk around now, guys, and it's 2024. It's an election year. A lot of people are pissed off right now.
Yeah.
Cut off in traffic. And I walk around now being like, man, why is everybody so angry? But 2 years ago, I was that all day.
Yeah.
So they need support. It's not that they're bad people. It's that they're on their own.
That's right. Hey, you're hanging out with Colby Wegner, Keith and Jon, and C. Marty Fit here. It's Surviving Entrepreneurship Tips to Stay Mentally and Physically Fit. We've got AJ Zeglin, our mental psychotherapist, in the green room, joining us here in 2 minutes. Jon Anderson coming with a lifestyle tip in a minute as well. But I want to quickly throw a quick question on the screen here, Colby, for you from our friend Matthew. Before I get to that, Tangerine, thank you. I just love watching this channel, and we just love having you here. And if you haven't, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Nation, if you're tuning into the show for the first time, the morning show, Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends, we go 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday, the only show to get you guys going and get you guys started and help you guys hit those big, audacious goals. And we got a question coming in from Matthew saying, Colby, how do you set limits without limiting yourself? Colby will answer that. We're going to go to a lifestyle break and then come back with AJ Zeglin to continue the conversation. Colby.
Yeah, setting limits without limiting yourself. That's a really good one, because a lot of us are always thinking, if I do less, I get less. I honestly think it's energy management more than anything. So many people I talk to, and I think it's just rather universal, if you haven't gone out on a limb, is that you're tying your value to your time. And it's just not true. It's not the way to build a sustainable business, let alone a life that you want to scale. If you're trying to upscale your life, you can't tie your value to your time.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a long time. So what you're really trying to transition to is, what is, in terms of this question, what is the one thing that is the highest leverage today? So for me, I just write the top 3 things I'm trying to get done every single day on a piece of notebook paper. And then I put an exclamation point next to the highest leverage activity. That's the one I'm going to start with. Right. And maybe I don't get the other 2 done. Many times I'm getting better at limiting myself to make sure I don't over plan. But if I don't get that one thing done today, I feel stagnant. So it's like, what's the highest leverage piece? And it's never going to be like, I need to just cross off this task. It's going to be the hard thing that most people wouldn't even attempt because it's too difficult. They'll hit a wall. They don't want to do it. So for me, it's like those little actions every day, because, it's the whole 1% better thing. You're 37 times better if you do it every day. Most people give up way before then. So it's just do the stuff in the dark that no one's watching. What's the highest leverage thing? So if you stack a bunch of high leverage things, even if nobody's watching, you worry about the action, not the result, you will not be limited. You'll go beyond what you actually set as a goal because you didn't really have the result in mind to begin with. So there's no way you could know how amazing it will be when you get there.
Holy smokes. Colby Wegner is dropping truth bombs in this show this morning. Jon Anderson, C. Marty Fit. Johnny, I see you leaning into this because it's also time for this. Colby, you got to come on the show more often, man, because you are dropping after truth.
You guys make it easy. You're fun to chat to.
Truth bombs with Colby Wegner.